the bulletin board in Village Hall by mail to the Ridgewood News, the record, and by submission to all persons entitled, same as provided by law of a schedule, including the date and time of this meeting. Roll call.
Councilwoman Perrin.
Here.
Councilwoman Reynolds.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Seaton.
Here.
Councilwoman Walsh.
Here.
Mayor Newton.
Here, and before we get public some comments from the public, just apologies to anyone. Just be mindful, this is a pre-meeting. The regular public meeting doesn't start until 8. I know there was some confusion over our closed session and the 6:50-ish start time. And just for clarification,
I was confused.
the Zoom link is the same for this meeting and the regular meeting. So with that, comments from the public. If you want to be really on the record, you can probably want to just wait till 8. But go ahead.
I am showing none.
Okay, good. Okay, so we're going to close comments from the public and let's go to discussion of the RFP for the rental of the gatehouse at Tabernacle. Go ahead, Heather.
Okay, so we have the discussion items. We did, you had asked for how the taxes are calculated for Ps, and I'll have Bob Rooney go through that quickly.
So you asked for consistency between leases that are for village-owned property. So I contacted the library and was able to obtain the lease that the tenant currently has for the Pease building. In that lease, it shows annual rental increases, and it also shows an increase based upon the increase in taxes. So with that being said, it's not on the total tax bill, but it's on the difference between one year to the next. And that is also done on a proportionate share based upon the square footage that the tenant has to the whole building. So I went, and the information I provided to you, if you go to the last page, it shows the tax increase calculations that I put together, showing the 2020 taxes, what I estimate the 2021 taxes to be, and then coming up with an increase for school and county taxes. And in that situation, you'll see $133.45 is the increase from one year to the next, just for school and county. At the bottom of that chart, you'll see the square footage. So there's the total square footage of the building. And then to the right is what the current tenant utilizes of that total space. So it's roughly 70.75% of the total square footage is utilized by the current tenant. So if you go back to the first slide that I provided, it's the calculation of the entire tax increase on that property. The second one is the tax increase predicated on the square footage, which would be consistent with how they do the Pease building right now. So the $133.45 of an increase for school and county would then be proportioned into the first year, or roughly $7.87 per month as part of the lease agreement. And I estimated that the tax increase would be at 2% every year. Again, just having something to predicate on, just to give you an example of what that amount would be every month, just for the tax portion of it.
Okay, any questions? Thanks, Bob.
You're welcome.
Any questions? Okay, so we're good for the RFP to just go out? Is
So
that,
that's my question. I think we have a few things to discuss. We have to discuss, so we had said that we were gonna go with this tax increase, so everyone's still good with going with the tax increase.
I still think we should put money in for maintenance.
Well, it was one or the other. Remember, we discussed it was in lieu of, instead of having the maintenance, escrow or whatever, that we would do the taxes, and everyone agreed to that last week.
So, okay.
Bernadette?
No, I mean, like I said, I think for us, it makes sense to be consistent. And, thank you so much, Bob, because this is exactly what I was hoping was going to be laid out. It gives us an idea of how we're charging and the increases and what we've been comfortable with as a municipality. So, based on the square footage, and I know that the current tenant made a comment regarding the amount of square footage that they utilize. And so, yeah, it does make sense that we're charging it based on a square footage basis. And, you know, being consistent across all of our income producing properties. So yeah, this makes sense.
Okay. Other than that, the other questions we had were I know Councilwoman Reynolds and I had a conversation and there was something about the hours. So I was just going to use the hours that the current tenant uses unless there is some other hours that the council wants.
So isn't that something that would just be hammered out in a lease? I don't think that the RFP is something that is designating hours. My recollection is that it was only for a service or an educational or a service that's being provided.
Educational.
Yeah, so,
Well-
but I think that all those details are hammered out in the lease and the lease come back to us. I don't think that anybody should be engaged in the hours in an RFP. I
Well,
don't think.
the thing is that when you put an RFP out, you want to make sure that those who are going to participate know what they're getting into. I'd say over the years, we maybe had one or two instances where the bidders bid in, but say, I don't know, you know, it's subject to this, and this, you know, because they were the details about the operation. If we're looking at a lease for a particular use, they want to know how the operation is going to work out. So it really is a judgment call as to whether or not that information as to the hours of operation are going to be pertinent to a bidder so that they can decide to participate in the bid process. And that's really what it is. You know, it's hard to say that it isn't, because if it's hammered out later on, you may get a bidder, you may get a response, but they may not like the hours of operation and they're out of it. So you have to go back out to bid again. So you want to avoid having to go through that process, so that you really want to make sure that you've got the information out there that's going to cause anybody who responds to the bid to be sure about what they're getting into.
But again, I think that the original RFP did not have hours of operation. It was only for those educational services. So, I mean, maybe we just say not to exceed X amount of hours a week or whatever that calculation is for what's there now, or a range, because someone might say these hours, I can respond to this RFP, but maybe these hours work better for me than those hours. So I think that pigeonholing anyone into hours of operation on a business is difficult. So maybe we should have either not to exceed or
reasonable hours.
like reasonable hours. But I don't want to pigeonhole people and
Unfortunately, reasonable hours may get us into a little bit of a quandary with some people who either are happy with Health Barn or unhappy with Health Barn. So I just, you know, I certainly understand what you're trying to, what you're saying and why detail it, because that may keep other people from jumping in or might people doing it. So it really is a judgment call. Sometimes what you do is when you put out a bid, you have a bid review meeting so many days after the bid was out for people who may be interested, so that you can then discuss some of these issues or questions that people who are interested in it. So that may be something that we can possibly do and think about. Just you put the bid out on day 1, and then you call for a bid review on day 10, and you get the bids back by day 20. And you know, that's the kind of thing that we do with a lot of bids in town. And a lot of towns do that. So maybe that's something we can possibly do to try and straighten out some of those issues that may, you know, be questions about the lease agreement. Because, you know, it's not as if you're asking for a service where you're asking somebody to perform work on a particular site or something like that. This is a lease agreement, and terms of the lease are obviously very pertinent to anybody who's going to be involved. So they're going to want to know the time period, you know, the term of the lease. They're going to know the type of use that can be permitted there. They want to know the ability to operate and how long they can operate, because that's, you know, part of what they're considering as they go ahead with regard to entering into a bid process. So maybe we can give a 10-day review or something.
I think a 10-day review, but I think it's important to just say that from X amount of hours to, can I just take a timeout? I have so many emails popping up right now about people that either can or can't get into the meeting. We are broadcast right now. We are open to the public, correct?
Yes.
So I think the question is, is our public able to view, Dylan?
Yes.
I'm
Okay.
also texting them too. They're emailing me and I'm
Yeah,
responding.
so I see everybody's emailing, so hopefully everybody's joining us and having a good time. So why don't we just leave it as a range of hours, but I think there were no hours listed in the original RFP. Maybe take a quick look at that and make it consistent. I think having a meeting is a good idea for people to kind of hammer out any questions. And this way we don't pigeonhole people and we kind of open that, at least leave some, openness. We know what the current hours are. So if they are at least consistent with what the total hours are and just say, we appreciate that every business operates differently. But, there has to be some flexibility if we're too rigid. As a matter of fact, even the current tenant may say there is wiggle room in her hours. Maybe she wants to shift things around. So I don't think it's worthwhile to pigeonhole anyone to hours.
Yeah, let's see that. That's
Okay,
certainly
and then
something to
the
consider.
other one is the term of the lease is 5 years. And Matt did confirm what Councilwoman Perrin had said previously, that we can do an option for up to 5 years. It's the council's option and not the tenant's option, unlike the previous, which the 1 year was the tenant's option. So, we could certainly put the 5 year option in there and the council may decide, no, we don't want to do it. Or we don't put it in at all. I mean,
So I think we put up to 5,
Not to exceed.
lease negotiation, tenancy will
It
be.
would be
a
that
lease
it would
up
be
to
that the
5
tenant,
years.
the tenant cannot be in default in order to exercise the option, but it's going to be at the request of the tenant, but it's going to be in the discretion of the village. So,
right,
That makes sense.
to maximum of another 5 years.
right.
Okay, hold on. I'm just writing. Other than that, I don't know if anyone else had questions about what,
So I just had a quick question on the dollar amount that the RFP is going out for. So anybody can bid above that and we have to take the highest bidder? Is that
well,
the
we
way
have
it
to be the
goes?
highest responsible bidder, just like lowest responsible bidder. So we have to see that they can provide, something that is educational, recreational, first of all, something that would get approved by Green Acres, which is in the lease and be in the RFP also. Something that they have proper insurance, that they, all that type of thing. So that's what, we have to require for them to have. I'm sure there are other things that Mr. Rogers and probably Chris Rutherford will help us out with, because Chris does so many bids. So I want to make sure we cover everything. And Mr. Rogers, obviously, for all the legal things that we have to cover. But yes, anyone who bids highest is what we would accept, the highest responsible bidder. If we find the highest bidder is not responsible, then we could go to, the next lowest bidder is what we would go to.
Okay.
Next lowest responsible bidder, I should say.
Highest.
Next highest, yes.
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, correct. I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah,
Pam was,
I know
was
what you
making,
meant.
Pam was
You're
making a
correct.
point next time.
Yeah,
Good, Pam. Pay attention.
thank you. Sorry.
Happens. All right, what else?
Were there any other questions or things you wanted in the RFP? Okay.
How soon can it go out?
Well, I just want to make sure we have everything in the RFP we need, and then we can go from there. And I'd say a couple of weeks. And then it'll be out probably for like 20 or 25 days or something, if we're going to do this 10-day in between.
Mhm.
So, and
It
then
can be quicker.
also,
We can move it up, but it can be.
and
quicker.
then if it were new vendors who were interested, that at that time, we could also do a tour of that facility. So that, and we could notify the current tenant that on this day, we will be giving tours if there are any interested bidders. So that the tenant's aware that we'll be showing the area that they would be able to use.
So why don't we do this, Heather, just so everyone knows when it's prepared and going out, just shoot us an email. Maybe if you
will.
want to add it as
I
a
will.
doc and so this way everybody just has it in their files. Is that helpful? So
Yes,
everybody
and
has a-
we'll let you know. So I think it'll be Bob and I and Chris probably and Matt to get together and just, finalize it, and then we can send it out. We don't want to delay it, obviously. We'd like to get it out, see what we get, and then proceed from there.
And then you're also getting quotes at the same time for the repairs?
We are getting quotes. Yeah, we do have the one from Bella Grande that we had for the masonry work. We, I think, may have received another one. I'm not quite sure. I haven't seen it yet. And then also the other work to be done. I know that we did get 3 quotes for the replacement of the bay window, which we actually have known for a couple of years that it was needed to be replaced. And Mr. Redesider has indicated that the pricing is very good that we received for the lowest quote. So as long as the council's okay with it, we'll go ahead and do these repairs that we knew had to be done anyway, and that we as a landlord have to do. Yes? You
Yes.
agree? Okay.
The only
Well-
suggestion I would make is, before the public meeting starts at 8 o'clock, before public comment, just kind of let everybody know that the RFP is going out. Otherwise, you might just have a whole bunch of comments saying like, what's going on? It was on the agenda, it was off the agenda.
Yeah.
So just so we don't have to sit through all these comments. They're commenting about something that's happening and it's going out and it's out there.
Good point. Good idea.
Thanks.
May, you're gonna do that or?
You know, I could take care of that. That's
Okay, great. Okay. Okay, so that's that part of it. So now we can go into our regular pre-meeting.
Pre-meeting.
Yep,
okay. But we don't have to go into another, we're in our
right
meeting.
here, right now.
Going to our, all right, we're going to our agenda.
We have to adjourn this one?
No,
No.
No, we're good.
Okay.
all one meeting.
We're all good. All right, so
Meeting.
we're going to start with Mr. Deputy Mayor. You're going to, after I say due to the fact, you're going to do that little thing, right?
Got it.
All right, let me just make a note. Mike. Okay, let's keep going. All right, bills, claims, vouchers. Who would like to second?
I
I
will.
will.
Okay, Lorraine, good. Pam, you want to grab the minutes?
Sure.
Okay, good. Pam, second the minutes. Okay, we have 5 proclamations. I'm actually going to ask one of you to read 2 since I'm not quite sure that I'll make it through too much talking. So we have April as tree planting month. Who wants to do that one?
I'll do it. Well,
Oh,
I'll-
Mike, sorry, Mike's. Okay. Don't worry, we're gonna find one for you, Pam. Okay, distracted driving crackdown campaign. Who?
I'll do it.
Okay, Bernadette. I think Pam, you should do the National Drinking Water Week. Got it?
Yes,
We
please.
found one for you.
Yep.
Okay, Building Safety Month. I think that Councilwoman Reynolds is written all over that one.
I'll take it.
Okay, and then we have Older American Month.
Nobody wants it?
Come on. I
I'll
think
take
Bernadette
that
should
one.
read it.
I'll take
Bernadette-
that one because
Bernadette's good.
I talked to my mom today via FaceTime because, she's locked down still, and she asked me how old I was. And I told her I was 29, and she
Oh.
told me I needed to go to confession.
All right, so
So
Bernie,
I'll take that.
That's funny. I actually told my father how old I was, and he said, "Oh my God." I couldn't believe it. That's
All
not
right.
good.
I had a reporter ask me how old I was the other day, and I told him it was inappropriate to ask me that.
There you go.
Okay, ready? Let's go on to ordinances. Public hearing 3850 that establishes a calc bank. Who wants to second?
I'll second.
Mike? Okay, public hearing open. Mike's gonna second. Very good. So Mike seconds. Who's going to move?
I'll move.
Okay, Lorraine, good. Budget
Okay,
hearing.
so just let Bob mention about the budget and what we're doing tonight and what we're doing in the future, okay?
All right, Bob, where are you?
He's there.
What do you mean? Is he talking now?
Yeah, he has to unmute.
I'm sorry, I thought you were planning for the meeting.
That's what
Um,
I wasn't sure. I thought she was.
No, I was just gonna
talk
say,
now.
so
Go
that
ahead.
they know what we're doing right now.
Okay, so Heather and I are going to make a presentation on the goals for the year, the budget that we normally do for adoption. I'm proposing amendments to the budget, one as a result of local government's comments on 3-year averaging for revenue. And also on the, I took another swipe at appropriations to make some trims there. I'll present them to you for your consideration. We will not amend tonight. We will wait until we get the final, the note sale completed and clearance from the state that we can move forward. So I'm holding off just in case the state has something else, because they're not very consistent this year. So I don't want to do this twice. So that's why I'm holding off on that. But I will present to you what the slight reduction will be in the tax rate, the impact, and, very similar to what we did on introduction.
Okay.
And so we will close the public hearing on the budget, and then the amendments will be at a future meeting once we know exactly what it is, and possibly, maybe we'll have information on the federal funding, right?
Yes,
And if we do that, would be part of the amendment as well.
right.
So that makes sense. So we can proceed tonight and then just amend later on. Okay, so we're good.
Correct.
All right, so Bob's finished now?
Yes,
All right, so now we're going to go on to the public hearing on the 2021 budget. What am I missing? Am I missing something? Okay. Now open, okay, who's going to second on the public hearing be closed? Who wants a second?
I will.
Pam?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right, good. All right. Ordinances for Ridgewood Water, there are none. Wait, do we have resolutions for Ridgewood Water?
That comes after ordinances.
Oh, I'm sorry, I just read the wrong, okay, fine, got it. Okay, 3851. Who wants to second? Cap, water utility cap.
I will.
Ernie? Okay. Okay, who wants to move it?
I'll move it.
Pam, perfect. Okay, 3852, who wants to second?
I will.
All right, Lorraine can.
Lorraine, got it. Okay, Lorraine. Mike, you want to move it?
Sure.
Good. Okay, resolutions. Okay, who wants to move?
I will.
Pam, good, thank you. Who wants a second?
I will.
Okay, Bernie, good. Very good. All right, now we're on to 3850.
Let me just say one thing. That final 2182 is new. Mayor Newton was in a meeting with Congressman Gottheimer, correct? And they
Yeah.
mentioned that there's federal funding for water improvements relating to clean water drinking. And so miraculously, Rich Calby and Mike Drulis were able to put together, or still in the process of doing it, but ready to put together a grant application. And so one of the things required is a resolution. We also are getting a resolution from Glenrock, is my understanding. And they will have it ready. It's due this Friday. So we had 1 week to do this, and I give great thanks and appreciation to both Rich Calby and Mike Drulis for doing this. And hopefully we'll get lucky and get the grant.
So if anyone has questions, I have that in my liaison report, but I did want to say that, it was just part of a meeting Josh had with mayors, just to bring everyone up to date, some federal programming grant opportunities. There were 2 separate tracks that were taken, and one was due Monday. This one in particular was due Friday. And as he was speaking, I was just on the website looking and realized that we probably qualified for this one. So we're really excited. And Heather is being gracious not to take much credit, but she too leaned in, as did Pam, almost immediately. So we appreciate everyone's help on this. So, all right. So Pam, you're moving
I am.
appropriately, and Bernadette, you're going to second,
Yeah.
right? Good.
Yeah.
All right, very good. We're on to 3854 bond ordinance. Let's go. Who wants to second?
I'll second.
Okay, good. Okay, who's going to move?
I will.
All right, good. Okay, 3855 bond ordinance parking utility. Who wants to second?
I'll second.
Bernie, got it. Okay, great. Bernadette, and who wants to move it?
I will.
Okay, Pam, thank you. 3856. So here's a question on 3856. So we're going to open this public hearing, but we would like to carry this to next month because there's some indication that the county may want to look further at the impact on county roads. And I don't see it as a problem based on the timeline. So we can,
Will be continued to May 12th.
okay, so let me just write this. So so first, who wants to second that the public hearing be open? So Mike, why don't you just hold? So who wants to second that?
I will.
Okay, Lorraine. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is, public hearing is now open. So I'm going to move the public hearing be carried,
Continued
or continued, I'm sorry,
to May 12th, 2021.
to May 12th, 2021. All right, and so I'm going to move the public hearing be continued to May 12th, 2021. So Lorraine, you're good to second that?
Yes.
Okay. And Mike, can you move it that you moved that ordinance, the public hearing on ordinance? Are you writing?
6 be continued to May 12th.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just cross mine out. Continued to May 12th.
And then I second again.
And Lorraine, you're gonna
No,
second.
it's just the one time. You just move the public hearing be continued to May 12th, 2021. There's a second and there's a roll call vote, and that's it.
Oh, okay.
No, but that's right, right?
Yeah.
Wait,
Just once.
So Mike doesn't have to move that the ordinance.
Right. That's what
oh,
I'm saying.
so Mike's not going to do that. I'm just going to, I move the public hearing be continued to May 12th and then.
I second and then we do roll.
And then we vote and that's it.
Sorry, Mike. We're good.
No problem. All right, I'll get over it. Thanks, Mayor.
I'm glad you'll get over it. 3857 towing regulations. Who wants to second?
I will.
Bernie, good. Okay, Bernadette, and who's going to move the towing?
Can I move?
I
the-
Okay, Mike. Mike's going to tow the tow. Okay, here we go. 3858 fees. So who wants to second?
I will.
Pam, good, thank you. Pam, and who's going to move it?
I will.
Okay. Cancellation of funded debt. Who wants to second?
I'll second.
And who wants to move it?
I'll move it.
Bernadette. Thank you. Okay, now we have the pilot for Ridgecrest. Who would like to second? This is a continuation, obviously, from January, February, March. Who's going to second?
I will.
Pam. Okay, I move the public hearing be closed, so it's Pam. Pam, you're going to second it 2 more times, and who's going to move?
I'll move it.
Very good, thank you, Mike. Okay, and then we're on to resolutions. We
So
have,
the resolutions, Councilwoman Perrin asked that 2186 and 21104 be removed from the consent agenda, so those will be read in full.
2186 and which one?
104.
okay, so we're going to take our consent agenda. And who would like to move the consent agenda minus those 2 things?
I will.
Lorraine, good. And who's going to second?
I will.
Mike, okay, and then those will be separate and whatever happens from there happens. Okay, good. All right, so let's do this. Did I miss anything? I
It's
don't,
21-108 on or off then?
It's off.
off.
It's off. Okay,
Right, because we don't authorize
Okay.
RFPs. That was
Okay.
my error.
okay.
Okay, so good. All right, so and then, so we're going, everybody should just make note. So I'm sorry,
86, I think.
86,
86 and 104 are going to be read separately.
correct.
Okay, good. All right, with that. Go back here a second. Okay. All right, so this is our pre-meeting. What's the time? All right, does anyone, wait, we got finished this fast? Is it only 7:30? We have our meeting at 8?
7:30. Can we start the meeting early or no?
No.
Yeah.
We just have to wait a half hour. Dark, I guess.
Unless there's any other county, village council business.
Okay, so hang on. Okay, so we have no other discussion on the April 14th agenda. Any other council business, anyone? Okay, all right. So I guess we may as well take an adjournment and everyone could just like go have dinner, cup of coffee, drink of water, and we'll see you at 8.
So
So
we stay in this, we just go dark.
Right.
you can
May I
just
have
mute
a
out,
motion
right?
to adjourn?
No,
So moved.
yeah, we do need a motion to adjourn.
Second. We're
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Just for
Okay.
the public, we're gonna
Opposed?
be back in a half an hour.
Thank you.
We'll see everyone in bed,
25 minutes.
right? 25 minutes,
Bye-bye.
24 minutes, actually.
Yes.